Do you remember those times when God actually just showed up and showed out? Those times that He delivered you, saved you, held you, kept you. Do you remember what God has done for you? Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2, King James Version. And thou shalt remember all the ways in which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart, whether thou would keep his commandments or no. What Moses is reminding us is that often we have to remember the things that only God has done in our lives. We have to reflect on the fact that our God has always shown himself faithful to us. We have to remind ourselves that if it had not been for God, we would have lost this battle, we would have lost even our minds. The question is, do you remember? Do you remember when the enemy tried to come in like a flood, but God lifted up a standard against him? Do you remember when the doctor said you couldn't be healed, but God, the healer, healed you nevertheless? Do you remember the time that you had no money, but God was your provider, and there was not a moment in your life that you was lack? Do you remember that God has always heard your cry, answered your cry, and been there with you? Do you remember? In closing, remember who your God is. Remember all that he has done, and remember what he promises to do in your life. This is Pastor B with another moment of hope. Be blessed.